Common Cause Georgia continues its push to make ethics reform a reality in Georgia in the aftermath of a report that ranks Georgia dead last in ethics. Proposed legislation failed last session, and even though the measure failed to garner even a public hearing, the issue has not gone away. The Government Transparency Organization, in partnership with the Georgia Tea Party Patriots, hopes to raise the pressure on legislators this summer.
But at least for now, I know anybody that pulls a Republican ballot on July 31st can say yes to ethics and can send a message. We can go back to the legislature in January and say, this many Georgians say this is an issue that they support and they want to see happen.
State Senator Josh McCoon said at the community meeting and panel discussion held Wednesday in Sandy Springs. But this summer's ballot initiative will not be enough to push ethics reform over the top, according to McCoon and others. That's because the ballot question will only be on the Republican ballot and is merely a non-binding vote.
The Georgia Republican Party Saturday, not only did they put a ballot question on the ballot for the July, it's a non-binding referendum question, do you support limits on lobbyist gifts? They passed a resolution that actually called for reasonable limits on lobbyist gifts. So this is important.
Still, McCoon is hopeful that the ballot initiative will send a clear message to legislators who have been slow to act on ethics.
I believe that it's going to be very persuasive when we go to individual members and we can say, here's your primary election result. These are the people that nominated you to be a member of the General Assembly. This is what percentage want this. This is not a poll. This is not a statistical guess. This is your electorate.
According to polls, 82% of Georgians support ethics reform. But Speaker of the House, David Ralston, has recently gone on record calling into question the accuracy of such polling. Enough is enough, at least according to Sandy Springs resident Lewis Bain.
Working and I'm discussing with it. Because it's got to change.
And Sandy Springs resident Don McAdam outlines his perception of the problem.
There are priorities, and the path that they're on and the decisions they make are distorted by the money from gifts and from campaign contributions from large corporate interests and from big money.
Common Cause, in partnership with the Georgia Tea Party Patriots, organized the Sandy Springs event to begin mobilizing voters to make ethics reform a priority prior to the summer ballot question. And as the Center for Public Integrity's report notes, it's much more than a problem of perception. The absence of strong laws in combination with the inability to effectively enforce ethics standards explains why Georgia not only received an F, but also ranked dead last nationally. Gwinnett State Senator Don Balfour provides one example of the ways in which legislators benefit from the practice of lobbyist gifts.
When I sort of combined his salary and his benefits and the amount of money he spends out of his campaign on a nice condo down in Midtown and such, he basically personally can benefit to the tune of about $100,000 from his service in the Senate.
As former AJC journalist Jim Walls explained to attendees, and not all legislators are convinced there is a problem. Count State Representative and House Ethics Chairman Joe Wilkinson among them. The Sandy Springs legislator has been on the defensive since the report's release, disputing the standards used to generate the report. According to AJC reporting, Wilkinson believes Georgia should be among the top 5 states in the country on ethics. And Wilkinson has gone on the attack, calling into question the integrity of the journalist who conducted the research on behalf of the Center for Public Integrity. And that journalist is former AJC reporter Jim Walls, who now publishes the blog Atlanta Unfiltered and continues to conduct investigative reporting on transparency in state government. But as Walls explained, there are numerous ways to circumvent existing limits on lobbyist gifts.
I just wanted to add one thing. I'm geeky enough that I study all these lobbyist spending reports ad infinitum, and I've already begun to see examples where a lobbyist would, or 2 lobbyists would basically split the cost of a dinner, so that you might say, okay, well, this one cost $75 from this client and $75 from this other client, and that's I don't know that anyone's trying to, circumvent any rules or any perceptions, but the fact is there are going to be ways, even then, for them to say, or sometimes you'll have two lobbyists from the same firm, and one of them will say, well, here's my $100.
Still, Georgia Tea Party Patriots Representative Julianne Thompson remains hopeful about the opportunity the summer's vote presents. As she said Wednesday,
I just wanted to say, don't ever think for one moment that you as a citizen are not powerful, because you are. Your voice is far more powerful than any lobbyist in the state of Georgia. You just have to make yourself heard.